To we talking about sports. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday night. If you're watching it live with us, if not, if you're watching it tomorrow, Thursday, welcome, welcome, welcome. The NFL season's about to start, boys. You know what that means. You're gonna get a lot more pods from us. Definitely. We're gonna pick up the pace here. Start getting shows a little bit more regular for y'all. Ron, Ben, it's been a while. How's it been, guys?
I'm
Man, it's
excited to
been
be back,
great. We
man.
haven't potted. It's been the dog days of summer.
Yeah.
Been grinding baseball, watching the Astros.
Every
Had the
day.
MLB trade deadline, but nothing too big. So we got preseason football. The Hall of Fame game went off a couple of weeks ago, last weekend. So glad to
July.
be. I think we got another preseason game tomorrow. So NFL is officially back, guys, and it's time to get back to football, baby.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for. I started getting texts, the group message text about the fantasy leagues, the roles, and the keepers, and it fucking excited the shit out of me, man. That just gave me the chills up my spine. So I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to get into not just the power rankings that we're going to talk about today, just a quick rundown of where we think each NFL team is from 1 through 10, and then we'll get into some other topics and just kind of kick it, dust off the cobwebs, and carry a little casual conversation with my boys here.
Ron, you said you were excited, man. Can we be excited? Like, should we even be excited? You know what it is for us. The grind that we put ourselves through year in and year out, bro.
We as Cowboy fans, you mean?
Yeah, I'm already gonna point it that way. You know what it's been like.
No, there's nothing to be excited for. Nothing at all. I have no hope for us this season. Am I giving up on my team? No, never. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan till I die. They're my number one squad. You're never going to see me jump ship. I might like other players on other teams, but who doesn't, right? You want to go root for some ballers.
Yeah. Hey, but like you were saying, fantasy football coming back, the betting's coming back. There's reasons to be excited for us regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because you said us, we Cowboy fans. So when it comes to that, the season's already cooked. You see what's going on. We're going to get into it later with the Micah situation.
Well, let's get into some news here, Ron. The big news that came out, I believe, yesterday was that ESPN is acquiring the rights to the NFL Network. And everybody that we know loves 7 hours of commercial-free football on Sundays. Red Zone. That's the biggest deal for NFL fans. We love our Red Zone.
Bro. Like, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning and you just turn fucking Red Zone on, and it's just you hear Scott Hansen's voice, and you have your cup of coffee and the tacos.
You set up the lineup,
right? You're like there on the phone. How does that make you feel, bro?
It makes me feel like the world's right when I'm doing that. You know what I mean? Like it's a good time. But I do have my concerns about this, bro. I really do with the ESPN acquiring everything.
And you think it'll impact them negatively?
Bro, like if I have to see Stephen A. Smith on a Red Zone network, I don't know if I can handle it, bro. I don't know if
can you see Stephen A. and Scott Hansen like on the same booth? That would suck, right?
It's terrible.
I could for sure, but for me, the thing that sucks about it the most, I think, is going to be that for sure with ESPN, we're definitely going to have commercials.
Yeah,
that commercial-free football is out the window, I think.
Have they mentioned that? Have they mentioned that yet? Though?
No, but ESPN, they monetize everything, they market everything, like they sell ads. The reason why they buy things like the NFL is because they're going to sell ads and get the revenue back. So we're heading there somewhere somehow, and then they're going to want to put their guys in. Like last year, remember we used to have 2 Red Zone channels. It was Scott Hansen, and there was that other guy. Well, then he got the boot, and Scott Hansen became the only guy. When ESPN merges, you don't think they're going to want to put one of their people in the spot? And then, like with the UFC broadcast, we have like Minty Bets. You don't think they're going to put like a betting personality? They just hired one like last week for like, I don't know how many millions of dollars. You don't think they're going to put her and have her involved in it somehow?
I knew that was coming, like the female analyst. Like, just say it. Like, you think there's going to be?
No, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say.
They're going more the content creator route than like the actual analyst route.
The entertainment route is kind of what they're pushing for. Today, they just bought out the rights to show WWE's pay-per-views. So that's kind of the route they want to push more than anything. Ben, what do you think about this? Are you worried about how they might handle NFL Red Zone? That's the biggest deal. NFL Network is not a big deal to us. There's only a few games throughout the year that we see that they televise anyway. So, what do you feel about it?
I mean, I think as far as for Red Zone itself, it sucks. But I think like for the combine and things like that, I think having ESPN Plus and how they have all of that other stuff on the app of the ESPN Plus app, UFC prelims, all that type of stuff. I think we're gonna start getting a lot of football, content, maybe some games, maybe some of those overseas games, unless they have a deal with one of the main providers like ABC or CBS. I'm not sure, but I think that we could start seeing more football games on the ESPN Plus app. The NFL Countdown, we already know, is on ESPN, so I could see something with NFL Countdown maybe being on site at times for big game or something like that. I could see that coming into the mix.
What was on the ESPN block when NFL Red Zone is on? Well, pretty much from 12 to 3. What does ESPN show? Like
they would show like women's basketball for college, stuff like that.
Bowling always on Sundays.
So you think that's them saying like, "Fuck, we're gonna own Sunday"?
They're trying to get a piece of it too.
They're trying to own everything, bro. Not just Sunday.
Because NBC's Sunday night, and then
Monday's Monday's ESPN, ABC already.
ESPN, yeah.
Last year they kind of got into it with the European games, the 9 a.m. games. They were putting them on ESPN Plus. Do you remember that? Some of those Jaguars in London, they were doing that. So.
What
up, Gabe? Sorry, I was reading the comments.
They've done everything with those games. They have those games on Twitter at one point as well.
Yeah. The biggest concern for me is just the ads. Everything else I can handle. I don't necessarily mind ESPN's presentation all the time, but I am concerned about them making the maneuvers on Red Zone. Like, leave my Red Zone the way it is, please, because there's not a lot of things that we have that are good and holy left in this world. Like, leave that one be, please.
Well, when you think of Red Zone, automatically it has to be 7 hours of commercial-free football.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
So if you're ESPN, there's no way you could take that away. That's the sole reason people watch. You can't break that 7 hours.
I will throw out a positive rumor that I heard today. I don't know if you guys saw that, but what they said now with ESPN acquiring the rights with Red Zone and everything, they're talking about doing a college football version of Red Zone. That to me would be like, I would love that.
You wouldn't mind the commercials.
No, I'm just saying, if you give me a college football Red Zone, me as a college football fan over NFL, I mean, you're talking to me nice, basically. So I would like that.
What do you think about maybe them just doing those quick little ads, like the ones where they like split
picture in picture?
Yeah, and there's like a little fucking ad on the bottom or like a ticker or something.
I guess I don't hate it if we're gonna have to do something,
Yeah. Alan, what up, dog? What about Mondays? Will they show Monday Night Football or WWE Raw?
Good question. So the way that they set up with wrestling, it's just gonna be the pay-per-views on Saturdays and Sundays. Monday Night Raw will still air through Netflix, so that's going to be on that. You need a lot of subscriptions nowadays. A cable service is not enough. You're going to need your cable service. You're going to need Peacock. You're going to need Paramount for those games. Then you need ESPN Plus. I mean, the average NFL fan has to spend like over $2,000 a year if you want to watch all their content. So it's a lot going on, man.
Or just hit up Justin.
We'll talk about that later, But yeah, anything else y'all want to talk about with the merger? Any other concerns you have with it?
Is Raw not on Netflix or is it?
Raw's on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah. So
SmackDown's on USA Network still though.
Gotcha.
So,
fucking Triple H is killing it.
They market everything now. There's ads on the tables. You know how they used to put people through tables? Now there's like Slim Jim logos on those tables.
Yeah, jelly roll through tables, bro.
Yeah. Logan Paul smacking the primes like Stone Cold with the beers. Like, get out of here, bro. Don't disrespect.
People were saying that drink is so trash. He didn't drink any of it.
They were in the lawsuit or something, I heard.
Yeah, something. All right, let's get into the little bit more meat and potatoes of what we're going to talk about today.
Justin, wrestling trivia. What's Triple H's real name? Or Ben, do you know?
His real name, Paul Levesque. Paul Levesque, right?
Yeah, Paul Levesque.
Yeah, all right.
Hold out.
All right, let's get into the holdouts. The two biggest ones, the two biggest names, one on the offensive side, one on the defensive side. Micah Parsons, he says he's done playing Jerry's game. He's tired of being talked to without any representation involved. Jerry kind of cornered him into the locker room and kind of said, hey, can we work this deal out without his agent being there? You know, Ron, that Jerry Jones loves to get one over and feels like he's winning the deal. But with Micah, do we really want to play with one of the best sack artists in the game today? Is that something you really want to roll with, Jerry?
I mean, has he won us any fucking games? That's the way I look at it. Are we in the playoffs? Is he getting us to?
He's our best defensive player.
I mean, but all they do is double team him, and his production to me now is a lot less than it was before. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? If we can get some good trade value for him, fuck it, I don't care. And he's always on the podcast anyway. I'm a diehard Cowboy fan, and when he was coming out of college, we were still doing the podcast, and I said I was very high on Micah Parsons. I think I even took him as first defensive player off the board, and I don't know if he was, but I'm a huge fan. But I don't care, bro. I mean, if he's causing drama like this shit, that's what I don't like, is when you cause your team drama.
But is it him causing it, or is it the owner who's unwilling to sit with an agent in front of him and work out a real deal? Because we just saw this last year around with CD. It's not like this is new.
So Dak got paid, CD got paid, and they didn't go cry and say they wanted to trade and leave the team. And thank you, Dallas. It's been real. Like,
they definitely made some noise, though, right? Like, it wasn't just like let me sit and not do nothing. And like Micah's tried to get this deal done since last year. You know, they kept pushing it. And this is the problem with the Dak deal. They pushed it, and Jerry had to pay Dak way more than if he would have just signed him in the first place, and we could have had more cap space. We're not a serious team when it comes with Jerry Jones and the finances.
Him and Hendrickson from Cincinnati are just waiting to see what the other one does.
Yeah.
Because whoever goes whoever goes second has all the leverage, because they're just going to compare their deal to the Hendrickson deal, which could be bad, though, because if it's not a deal that they wanted, then Hendrickson can get paid and Jerry can look at Micah and be like, okay, well, I'm either going to give you that or a little bit more, but it's
they have to be in talks together, because they got to have to sign the deals near each other.
Collusion.
Maybe they swap jerseys. You know what I mean?
I'll take it. Micah with Joey.
I don't mind Hendricks. His stats are pretty decent. He gets after the quarterback. Ben, what says you? Is this a lot of Jerry's fault here?
I think it's a lot of Jerry's fault, because this is your defensive anchor. I mean, this is your best player. I know that, Cowboys fans were very excited about Diggs with all those interceptions a couple of years ago, but
for nothing.
Micah Parsons, I mean, he was one of those guys that fell on your lap on draft day, kind of should have gone a lot higher than he did, was a gift. And to not be able to sign him, after his rookie deal, I think is that ego thing, Jerry kind of saying, that's how he does it. Micah calling for his lawyer, it's, I think it's a messy situation. I know Micah already kind of gave Cowboys fans his farewell and said, like,
that's what I'm saying, bro.
We're pointing past to no return. Mm-hmm. I still don't believe that fully.
I agree.
I think that if the money's right and Jerry, it does always happen like this. There is always a little bit of turmoil. It's not like Jerry always gives in right away and just pays.
He likes to feel like he wins the deal. Like, that's his whole thing.
This has definitely been dragged out a lot more than anybody else. And it's gotten to the point where it has people like Ron saying he's as good as gone already anyway. So, why do we want to keep him? But, he's still a top 5, top 7 defensive player in the NFL, bro.
He's unique, bro, because he can rush it down or he can drop back like a linebacker. He has the speed to cover. It's just one of those players you don't just get rid of just to get rid of. Like, you try to make it work with him as much as you can. Like you said, defensive anchor. And let's go over to the offensive anchor probably for the Commanders here.
Hey, and just real quick, Justin, especially because you heard that there was trade offers supposedly out there, and then the team's calling the Baltimore Ravens. Like, when teams like that are right away, picking up the phone, it's because that those guys, they don't mess up very often. The Ravens
don't, bro, and they always capitalize on someone's downfall like that. That's what they do.
Yeah, when the Cowboys didn't get Derrick Henry, who was the team that got him? Baltimore fucking Ravens. Yeah, I like Gabe's comment. Right here. He says,
is that a Photoshop? That's actually the NFL picture for Scary Terry.
No, it was the one about Micah going to Philly. He did go to Penn, and he is from Ohio, I believe, which
He went
is
to
very
State
close
Penn.
to Pennsylvania. So maybe he wants to get out of the Texas heat and go back, be closer to family.
But he grew up a Cowboys fan, bro. Like that's the thing. Like this is his dream spot.
Yeah, and,
Jerry's
and,
playing with the
and his
wrong
dream
people.
is getting torn down by fucking Jerry Jones. So
Joe T brings up a good point. We thought Myles Garrett was as good as gone, also, and then he ended up signing a deal with the
Look
Browns.
at T.J. Watt. We thought he might be gone. He started unfollowing things,
The
and
Myles Garrett one really, like, he came out and said, I want the trade request. T.J. Watt never requested a trade or anything like that.
but he got radio silent for a little bit. It did get a little scary hours.
you just felt like Myles Garrett was gonna leave because the Browns were just terrible.
Right, but the number
Not
got
that the Cowboys are fucking
but they
amazing,
said
but
the
like
right
you would
number,
never want to
Ron.
leave. Yeah, no, I know, I get it, but I'm just saying it's a little easier to believe that Garrett was gonna really leave because nobody wants to be there anyway. Micah, you can kind of see it as, well, does he really want to leave, or he's just kind of doing negotiations?
All right, let's move over to the Commanders here with Scary Terry. This is a receiver with multiple quarterbacks, 1,000-yard seasons. It doesn't really matter who's throwing to him. He gets it done. The Commanders looked like they were in prime position. If they have him, they added Debo. It looked pretty good for that offense. They have the quarterback of the future. And now he's saying he wants to be traded, Ben. He's holding out. What says you? What do you think of this?
Yeah, he has said that he wants to be traded, but he hasn't been as outspoken as Micah Parsons. He hasn't, wrote the tweet that's
Nowhere
longer
near
that nobody's going to read,
outspoken.
because it's too much info. But the Redskins, the Commanders, their ownership group, since buying the team, they have been making all the right moves. McLaurin is a guy that they drafted, and he's kind of their guy there in Washington. I definitely think that this one gets settled before the season starts. I think that he's playing. I mean, if he's not, Debo's right now in fantasy drafts, he's going like 8th, 9th round. His draft stock will definitely go up some if this holdout lingers into the season. But I just think that Terry has done so much for that franchise that he's kind of one of those guys that, like, hey, this guy's earned it. And
Yeah, he has.
Johnson in that group, I think they'll stop messing around. Like I said, it hasn't gotten as aggressive. We haven't heard him. Yeah, he requested a trade, but it was, it kind of just came out through, the media or whatever. But he hasn't been outspoken himself saying, this thing is done. I definitely want to get out of here. I think it gets resolved before the season starts.
Ron, I want to highlight Alan's comment here. He says that Terry's situation is baffling to me. He finally has a good situation around him. What's going on, Ron? That's crazy that he wants out now after he has some steady and stability, and he has another weapon to take the heat off of him. What do you think about it, Ron?
Yeah, you see, this to me is more of a situation where it's just pure negotiation. He's been there when the team was, shit, bro. He how many quarterbacks do you think he's seen there?
He's at like 6 or something.
Right? So he finally gets put in a situation. He's like, okay, pay me or I'm going to leave. Yeah, they got Debo, but, he does come banged up from San Francisco. So he feels like he might have a little leverage. That's all. Maybe he wants to get money before they have to pay Jaden Daniels off of his rookie contract. I know they can do that now, right? They're paying rookies like their second year into their rookie contract and shit like that. They're extending them.
Third year.
Yeah. So maybe he's just trying to be like, hey, fuck it. Nobody else is here that they can give money to. Let him send it my way. But he's going to be if not preseason, the third game or something, he'll definitely start week 1.
All right, so 6 seasons in the league. Only one season he didn't have 1,000 yards. He had 919 yards his rookie season. After that, he's cleared 1,000 every year. 6 different quarterbacks doing it with 2. And he had that huge playoff game for Washington where he had 227 yards last year.
Yeah, he had his best season ever last year, and that's why he's demanding to be paid. I mean, Ron did make a good point. They haven't really paid anybody. I mean, they're throwing Zach Ertz out there at tight end. Like, they have Brian Robinson at running back, and they have Austin Eckler. They're really not paying anybody. That aside from Debo, maybe some guys on the defensive end. But this is similar to like Hopkins with the Texans, going through all those quarterbacks, still getting the 1,000-yard seasons. Yeah. Terry McLaurin has shown that he's quarterback proof. Now he finally has, one of the best quarterbacks, probably going to go down in franchise history. I'm not going to say the best, but one of the best, already showing, early signs.
Great prospect, we'll say that at least.
Right. I think that it definitely gets figured out, bro. They owe him the money.
Okay, Ben, so when we're talking about owing him the money, are we talking anywhere near Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb money, Justin Jefferson money? I'm just saying, do you think he's in that category where you're paying him that price? I'm not trying to get to the exact number. I'm just saying, are we putting him in that category where it's like, hey, he's top dollar? You know what I mean?
It's tough, bro, because the Spurs just paid De'Aaron Fox $60 million a year. You know what I'm saying?
I think you give him T. Higgins money, but I don't
T. Higgins money? Franchise tag him like that?
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at T. Higgins, Courtland Sutton money.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's in a lot of people's top 10 receivers list, I believe. I mean, he has to be with the production that he has. But I don't see him in the same brackets as the CeeDee Lambs and the Jamar Chases of the world. So I'm with you on that.
I mean, if Debo's 100% healthy, like, I'm not saying prime Debo, but if Debo can be really solid, I mean, they're comparable.
He's way better than Debo, I think. What's up, Mark? Josh says top 10 every year, top 10 wide receiver every year. We agree, Josh. All right, boys, you want to get into these preseason rankings here?
Yeah, let's
do it. We're going to get into some preseason power rankings, top 10 guys. I put a list together. Ron put a list together. Maybe we can have a little poll and see who's top 10 you all agree with the most.
Let's do that.
Maybe who did we leave out? No, there's going to be maybe, a random Seahawks fan maybe in the comments section saying, hey, the Seahawks belong up there or something. But let us know whose list you agree with more. But yeah, we have some top 10. Ron, I think your list is up first.
I just want to say Ron's photo is ridiculous, first off, because the fit is definitely Ron's fit. It's just that doesn't look like Ron at all. I don't know what ChatGPT was on when we were making these earlier, but Ron, break down your list, please, brother.
You don't make these yourself?
We just put it through the robots nowadays. Everything's AI. Like Elon, everything's AI.
All right, coming in at number 10, I have the Chargers. Year 2, man, with Harbaugh, I didn't hate what I saw last year. He's a quarterback whisperer, so I finally feel that maybe Herbie gets that monkey off his back. And, hey, they got Keenan Allen, right? Another OG weapon. Number 9, the Rams. This is with a healthy Stafford. We all know that he got my wife got one of the epidurals, that big ass shot that they give you in your back. It's crazy, like numbs half of your body. So depending on him, but I still think that the wide receiver and the run game there is really good. Broncos coming in at number 8. Shout out to Dukes, his squad. The move from Russ to fucking Knicks looks great now, right? Russ was over there and everybody thought he was going to cook, and then he was gone right away. So it's looking like it's working out. Their defense also is, we know it's top tier. It can keep them in games. The Lions at 7. It's tough. They have 2 new coordinators. The defense to me is bad, but I think maybe some standout years from JMO, some Bama pride over there, and Gibbs. Then I'm going to go with the Bucks at 6. I think they win their division. And if they're fully healthy, boys, I mean, you're talking about Mike Evans, Godwin, and then the emergence of Cade Otton at tight end. That offense can be scary. Their running back is great too. Number 5, I have the Commanders. Obviously, like what we talked about, Scary Terry needs to get signed right before the season. They added Debo, and their run game, to me, is really, really good. And number 4, I have the Chiefs, just because they're the fucking Chiefs. I think the aura is gone. I think Kelsey's completely checked out, but at the end of the day, bro, it's Andy Reid. He's going to come prepared every single week. The Bills, the reigning MVP, and Josh Allen, how do you not have them at least in the top 3? Now, the defense plus no running back to me no wide receiver is their Achilles. Speaking of injuries, Khalil Shakir just got hurt, so we don't know how serious that is. But regardless, number 3, the Bills. The Ravens at 2. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, I mean, what better combo could you want except for them in the playoffs, because they still can't seem to get over that damn hump. I don't know what it's going to take. Either way, they're one of the top 2 teams in the NFL. And then, of course, the defending champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, are fucking rivals in the East who are going to just destroy us this year. Game fucking 1 of the season. The defending champ, ponle contra los Cowboys. Week 1, first game. Fucking una chinga. fuck it. It is what it is, bro. I dare say we might be on the verge of a dynasty here. I mean, that offense, bro. I mean, it's insane. Jalen Hurts finally started playing well and smart. Saquon Barkley fucking doing backflips over defenders pretty much. The receiving duo over there is, I mean, ridiculous. And yeah, man, that's my top 10. Early top 10 NFL.
So where did Ron overrate it, Ben? Where do you think that he went wrong on these ratings, that he put somebody a little too high? Are you concerned maybe with the Rams? You know, no Cooper Kupp this year. His weapons aren't going to be the same. Or do you think you would put the mark on and say, hey, Ron, that's a little too high for me?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rams are fringe. I think a lot of these teams are fringe. I think the Chargers, I don't think that they're a top 10 team. You know that I've been a big, hater on Herbert and saying that he just doesn't have it in him in the big game. I'm not saying he's Trevor Lawrence, but he just doesn't win the big game. I mean, I saw him play, in Houston last year, the wild card. He had a pick six. He threw like 3 interceptions in the game. They lost 40-9, something crazy. So I just think that Herbert, I mean, he looks the part, but when it comes to it, they did add the running back that is probably going to be a little bit of a sleeper here in fantasy, Hampton. But the Chargers, I do like the coaching. I still think that we got to see them do it consistently, and they got to win a playoff game. I don't think you're a top 10 team if you haven't won a playoff game.
All right, Ron, what I'm going to ask you, just because I know you're such a big fan of the tandem, the Bengals, Burrow and Chase, you don't have them in the top 10. You couldn't see them in your 10 at all?
I was, bro. I was definitely going to put them in there, but I watched, was it QB1 or quarterback on
Netflix?
NFL where they follow the season?
The producers got you, cuz?
It's just, dude, they can't win games. They're like the Chargers of 2 years ago or where there was like they lost 7 or 8 out of their fucking
too many
games
single-digit games they lose.
But the odds turn around because that doesn't just happen every single year.
I know, but their defense is really bad, man. Like really, really bad.
They got to score a lot to win.
And then if they don't sign that defensive end and he leaves, I mean, you're just have no hope. I mean, Joey B and Jamar and Mixon can go out there and fucking score 30, 40 points a game and they can still take the L. And their coach, bro, I'm really not in love with their coach. Like, I don't think that he's this guy that they get behind. There's a scene in that show where they win the game, but it was like a terrible performance. It was the game, I don't know if y'all remember, where they had like 7 false starts in one quarter in the second half or some shit. Mm-hmm. And Joe Burrow's all pissed and the coach is just like, hey, it's okay. Like, we got the win. Like, don't worry. And like, hey, just be positive. And Joey B's like, nah, we fucking suck. We play like shit.
Yeah.
I don't like coaches.
Hey, Ron might be, he might be the person to jump off bandwagons faster than me.
Relax.
Oh, Ron, the last one I want to ask you, just because I didn't see it in your list either, and I think they're super fringe. The Niners are not in a lot of people's top 10s this year. They've been pretty consistent as far as making it into that NFC Championship game. They just don't always close it out. Why don't you think you have them in your top 10 this season?
Well, I said last year it's very hard to get back to the Super Bowl once you do it, and so I knew there was going to be a fall off there.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if they can just be as consistent as they have been. It's been boys, like 5-6 years where they've kind of just been there every year, Super Bowl, NFC Championship. I mean, you can only keep that right up for so long until you finally fall off. We were talking about it in the group chat, how CMC, he's great, but he's injury prone. How much can you count on him? Debo's gone. And going back to coaching, I mean, Shanahan, I think Roland or somebody shared a picture of it. And it's like him and this other coach at the same age. And he just looks like, wow, bro. Like, that guy is done. Like, he's just stressed out. Dude's going to die of fucking stress. I just think that organization is just not headed in the upward direction.
Yeah, I got you. All right, Ben, let's get to your top 10. I think a lot of people are going to have something to say about it. But let's go over it, Ben.
Let's go. Let's look at the picture first. I mean, for as bad as Ron's fucking picture was, I mean, this is top. That's Hall
HD.
of Fame. I mean, this is Stephen A. Smith shit right here.
What up, Louis? Shout out to Louis before Ben goes to the list. Broncos in the top 10. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so here's my top 10. I'll start from 1 to 10. I know Ron went backwards, but I'll go number one. Also, the Eagles.
Gotcha.
I mean, I kind of agree with that dynasty point. There's been a meme going around, comparing AJ Brown, I believe AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, and Devontae Smith's contracts, and
Less
they
cap
all
hits.
total up to less than Dak Prescott's contract.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you're serious about winning football or winning championships, kind of similar to NBA. I mean, you do see some of these guys take those lower pay cuts and give it a try, but then you get guys that just want that dollar. They're chasing that dollar. The Cowboys, they've had to pay Dak, they've had to pay CD, they've had to pay Micah. There is a salary cap, and you can't just pay everybody, right? But
Yep.
guys are buying in over there for the Eagles, and I do think that Ron's onto something with that dynasty. Unfortunately, when you got guys like Jalen Carter falling to you in the draft at number 10, and you're just reloading. So
And they drafted freaking amazing once again, man. I mean,
they usually do, bro. I mean, Cooper DeJean, another rookie, he has a touchdown in the Super Bowl on a pick six. They're doing a good job out there. Shout out Howie Roseman. They got a lot of shit. Even their coach got a lot of shit, getting into it with fans. Yeah. We know that Philadelphia's pretty tough. Joel Embiid will, attest to that. But the Eagles,
they still got Big Dom, too. I mean, don't forget Big Dom's
Big
there.
Dom, yeah. Big Guido Dom, yeah. So I'll keep the Eagles at one. Number two, I'm going to agree with the Ravens. I think that Lamar Jackson, another guy that in the playoffs, he hasn't gotten over that hump. I think he has been to one AFC championship, but no Super Bowl appearance, similar to Lamar Jackson. Similar to Allen. Josh Allen, another one-time MVP, Lamar Jackson, a two-time MVP. We know that they have Derrick Henry, wide receiver. Somebody mentioned it in the comments earlier, is a big problem for the Baltimore Ravens. I think that the Ravens, their roster build, everything that they have is pretty good. We'll see if Lamar can get over the playoffs. He's another guy that you kind of got to see it first to believe it. But all around, I think that they might be the team that gets the bye going into the AFC playoffs with the best record in the regular season. They got that division with the Steelers. I'm not big on Aaron Rodgers. We know the Browns are going to be pretty bad. And then you got the Bengals, who we'll talk about a little later here in my top 10. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. They're always just going to be in the top 3, top 5 just because of Mahomes and Andy Reid. They do have to deal with the Rashee Rice suspension, 3 to 4 weeks, I believe it is, at the beginning of the season. Should see, a lot of Xavier Worthy early on in the season. And then once Rashee Rice gets back, it's just going to add another weapon for Mahomes. So the Chiefs are going to be there. We know that they're going to be there because they have Mahomes, they have Andy Reid. Number 4, I'm going with the Bills. The James Cook holdout is kind of it looks like he's standing on business. He's not practicing. He's there at practice, but he's still holding out. I don't know how long it lasts. They do have younger running backs that look to be dogs and just starving for an opportunity. Guys that run hard, RJ Davis, or they have decent guys there backing up James Cook. We know, Josh Allen also is going to do his part rushing. The Bills at number 4, man. And a stat that I'll share also, I shared this in the chat, but Josh Allen last year won MVP without a top 30 wide receiver or a top 20 tight end. So the Bills, pretty much the top 10, I think most of these teams are going to be double-digit win teams. I think, these teams are going to win 10-plus games in the league. That usually gets you in the top 10 power ranking. After the Bills, I'm going to go with the Lions. I wanted to drop the Lions a little bit more. I know Ron had them a little lower on his list. They lost, their defensive coordinator. They lost Ben Johnson, their OC. Mm-hmm. We know that their coach is a, rah-rah type of coach, get you to run through a wall. But
he's not X's and O's.
He's not X's and O's. And when they don't, get those 4th down conversions, maybe because the play calling isn't as creative anymore due to Ben Johnson leaving, I do think that the Lions, although, the depth chart is stacked, I do think that they're going to take a fall back just on, play calling and executing in those big moments. Losing both coordinators is tough, bro. It doesn't matter what team you are. So
he came.
They got one of the best O-lines, though, man.
He came out saying that the defense is ahead of the offense right now.
Is that what the coach said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I mean, towards
That's
the back
scary.
end of the season last year, they were really bad, man. I
Yeah.
mean, coming up to the number 6, they played a game against the Texans where the Texans had them all game. They ended up choking second half, and Detroit scored like 30 in the second half to come back and win. But it was one of those games like they're going to be having to score 35, 40 points to win games. I think they will get Hutchinson back. He did get injured last year, right?
Yeah. He was
So
at the
was
Hall of
out.
Fame game. He said he's going to be back.
That's the heart and soul of their defense for the most part. You get pressure, it makes everybody's job easier. So we'll see. But I do see them taking a step back, especially with another team here in their division. I think that could take the division. After that, I'll go with the Texans, guys. I know that this one might be the controversial one.
That's where it gets a little controversial.
The defense is going to be like a top 3 defense in the NFL. I think that the defense they're fast. There's dogs everywhere. It's just like I'll put it like in college football terms. It reminds me of like a Georgia defense or an Alabama defense, just where it's a bunch of mean, fast.
I mean, it's an SEC defense. It is what it is.
That is what it is. Yeah. So I mean, the O-line is still going to be the question mark coming into the season. We got a new offensive coordinator, Rams tight end coach. What do you see? We open up with the Rams week 1, to start the season. You like to hear that, with Matthew Stafford having those back pains right now. But, the Texans, I just think that the defense is really going to be a game changer. I think the defense is going to be big this year. I'm big on them in fantasy football. I think that they're going to cause a lot of turnovers, get a lot of sacks. And, with the Joe Mixon stuff, it doesn't sound too good here to start the season. He's not in training camp. He's falling off, fantasy draft boards. He's going down.
Y'all did get another running back, right?
Yeah, they did sign Nick Chubb. They drafted Willie Allen out of USC as well. So there is depth there. Just, we all know Nick Chubb is he is over the hump already, coming back from injury. He's still going to run hard, but he's not a guy that you're going to rely on to be RB1.
He's not a 1, he's a 2.
Right. So the O-line and the run game, I did like drafting all those wide receivers. I think the Texans, the defense is going to keep them in a bunch of games this year. 7, I'll go with the Commanders. Like I said, I'm not too worried about the holdout with Scary Terry. I think that they'll get it sorted out. I like the coach. I like the quarterback. They got a good thing going there. Number 8 here, I'm going to go with the Packers, guys. I like Jordan Love a lot. I do like their coach. Yeah. They've shown that they can have success in the playoffs. They can win in the road on the playoffs. They had, they took the Niners down to the wire that one year as well. They reloaded, drafting a first-round wide receiver in Matthew Golden from Texas, to add to all that wide receiver room that you really don't want to draft in fantasy football because you don't know if Christian Watson's hamstring is going to get blown out by week 3. If Reed is going to score 2 touchdowns and not score for another 4 weeks. It gets tricky, but they went out, they drafted a first-round wide receiver, and you got to feel good. They got Josh Jacobs running the rock for them. When the weather does get cold, that's a bruising back who you don't mind giving the ball to. I like the Packers. I think they're pretty fundamental. I could see them taking the division from the Lions this year. You got question marks with the Vikings at quarterback and J.J. McCarthy. So I do like the Packers this year. At number 9, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I couldn't believe they weren't on Ron's top 10. I know they had a bad year last year. I think those one possession losses flip. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are just too good not to be in the playoffs again. They were Super Bowl bound a couple of years ago. Now they're missing the playoffs, with them healthy. The defense is really bad. We saw their draft pick from A&M decide. Justin, did he go back to college? Is that still the case?
He still hasn't reported, and there's talks that he's back at A&M practicing, so he might go back to
they were trying to do some weird shit with his contract, bro. Defensive end Stewart, I believe.
Shamar Stewart. It's about the guaranteed money. He didn't like the way that they were setting it up. Like, they were trying to protect themselves. If he's hurt, they don't want to pay out that money. And he just didn't like it. And he's been back at A&M. He's practicing like he's going to play for A&M next year. So.
And they said he'd be eligible for the draft in 2025. So
I don't know what happens to the Bengals pick at that point. Like, are they able to
once you get an agent
supplemental draft? I don't know what the hell happens, bro.
I thought once you got an agent and declared,
everything's changed with NIL deals now. You get an agent earlier because you got to sign these deals with the NIL.
Yeah, so I think the Bengals, I mean, they pay T. Higgins, they pay Chase, they have Joe Burrow. I think they're just too high flying. Yes, they might need to score 30 points to win games, but they have the offense to do it. Chase Brown showed that he can catch the ball out of the backfield, run the ball for them last year as well. So I got the Bengals turning those one possession games around this year and getting into the playoffs. And then I'll round off my top 10 with the Bucks. Just Baker Mayfield, that weak division. I think they're, for sure going to win that division, like Ron alluded to. The odds on that are even or minus 110 for them to win that division. Not a bad play, with the Falcons being, their biggest threat. Unless you believe in the Carolina Panthers, we know the Saints are probably tanking for Arch Manning, but the Bucks, just off the strength of their division, they got a lot coming back. We know Mike Evans came back. Godwin might be out to start the year, but they reloaded and drafted an Ohio State wide receiver in the first round that I was hoping the Texans would take, but they reloaded, got Baker more weapons. Ron alluded to Kate Otten. The Bucks are going to win 10 games next year.
All right, Ron, where are you going to pick on this list, man?
Oh, just the Texans, bro. I mean, at 6 is – I don't mind them being on his top 10. He's a Texans fan. And he has some points about the defense, but at 6, like –
they feel like a fringe team to me, Ron. They feel like 10.
Like their O-line wasn't good at all last year. CJ got sacked like crazy. The move of the tight end from the Cowboys over there didn't really move the needle a lot either.
They just lost their left tackle.
The fucking Diggs is over there with Cardi B.
He's a Patriot, Diggs.
Yeah, but he was with them last year, no? Or am I
last year, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a new
like,
year, cuz.
So yeah, I know, but like all these things are happening and they're 6 on your list. Like it's kind of crazy. But it's as crazy as me as not putting the Bengals, but I kind of wanted to reverse side of them. This year they'll be at the top. They'll be a hell of a team this year, but preseason list, I don't think they're there yet.
And then look at the Texans division also. Like
that's what I was gonna say.
You have Lou just jawing and just chirping in the comments.
Lou, let him know, Lou.
With no real substance behind it. But how are they not going to make the playoffs?
Shout out to Lou and his.
No, that's why I think they're 10.
Nah, don't shout out Lou, because when they lose, he doesn't show up in the playoffs.
That's why I think they're 10, Ben. They make the playoffs, right? The Colts is not going to beat them. The Jaguars is not going to beat them. Titans got a rookie quarterback. They might get a little better, but that's 5 games they could probably win.
5 or 6. I mean, let's say maybe they don't sweep the division. Maybe the Colts beat them once. But the Colts are deciding between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones right now. Right? Yeah. They don't have a real starter.
Yeah, I agree.
Then you got the Jaguars, who the Jaguars are going to Jaguar.
But what I'm also going to say is y'all could win the division like y'all did last year, but you're a 10-17. Is that really worth top 10?
I mean, how many teams win 10 games?
Well, I mean, last year they did
more than 10 teams, no?
Beat the Chargers by 20, so.
Yeah, and then they went to the playoffs and they took care of the Chargers and, held them to 1 touchdown all game and 4 interceptions. I'm telling you, bro, the defense is going to be legit. Legit.
7 teams in the AFC last year won 10 games or more.
Sam Ehlinger, QB1.
The division's bad, man. The division's really bad. You have Cam Ward, the quarterback, number 1 pick, even saying, our offense is mid.
Yeah, I mean, Restrepo, he's making like 8th on the depth chart over there. He didn't even really pan out for them either.
I'm probably gonna have
I was tripping out seeing his interview that came out, a day or 2 ago on the field. Like that was crazy. Does he suffer from some sort of disease or something?
No, I just think he's mixed breed. I don't think he's suffering.
No, like his face was very droopy and it looked weird. That's why.
Ron's trying to peace out. Let's Ron go. He gotta put a baby to sleep.
All right.
Bell's palsy, that happens sometimes. Like Jim Ross, he had Bell's palsy and then his face.
It was like very exaggerated, Ron. So I do think that it was something like
you never know. It could be a slight case of it. That happened to my dad actually. It's crazy, but his face went back to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, a great first show back. I look forward to the future shows. And that's it. I'm out of here. Good rapping with you boys. I gotta go give Roman a shower and
take care of Roman.
Later, boys.
Later. Ben, the only other thing I would, comment on your list, the last thing I want to talk about is that Packers. I mean, I think they're gonna win their division. We did see the Vikings kind of give them, last year a little bit of a a fight. They ended up beating them out. They lose to the Lions in the NFC North. But the Vikings are going to have to start a new quarterback. They let go of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's no longer there. Do you think, though, still with the pieces the Vikings have, that they can produce and maybe beat out the Packers for number 2 in the NFC North again? I know the Lions are going to win the NFC North more than likely. So
I think that the Packers can win it because, like I said, I really do think that the Packers, they went 1-1 with them last year in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken, and they just play hard-nosed football. They can hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs and kind of keep Detroit's offense off the field. And then Jared Goff playing in Lambeau, like it all depends on when that game is. He's more of a dome quarterback, even going back to his days with the Rams.
Yeah.
Putting him in Lambeau and the ice and shit, he keeps his hands in that pouch. So it's not a good scenario for the Lions out in Lambeau, let's say November, December timeframe. I don't know when the game is. I probably should have been prepared with that, but I do think that the Packers can win that division.
You're willing to stamp the Packers over the Vikings then for sure to edge out that AFC.
I am. And then also Jordan Addison, he recently they came down with a suspension for him from the NFL. So he'll be out the first 3 weeks. Their backfield, you have Aaron Jones coming back. He's kind of on fumes now. I know that he did have a pretty decent year last year until he got injured.
But he's on the back end of his career.
Right. And I think that they got Mason as, their other running back over there. So it's nothing that's really going to, scare any defense with the running game. I'm not saying they won't move the chains, but nobody's going to pop a long run, or it's going to have to be on the strength of J.J. McCarthy getting the ball to, Jettas. They will have Hawkinson for the full year. Last year, he missed about half the season, but I'm just not willing to buy into J.J. McCarthy, especially coming off of an ACL injury.
Yeah. The last one I want to ask you about, because I'm a little bit higher on them than you are, it's the Bucs. Could you see them climbing into the top 7? Do they have the potential? That offense can move. Evans gets his, and they had Mecca Ibuka, a hell of a receiver from Ohio State, a great technician out there.
For sure. The only thing is, I think that Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback, but if he repeats a season like he did last year, where he finished, I think he was number 2 in yards, if not number 1.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about, all right, is Baker Mayfield maybe like an elite? We got to remember, this is a guy who, Marky's been in the chat, but Marky and OBJ's dad were working overtime all night, putting film together on throws that Baker Mayfield was missing when they were both with the Browns. You remember OBJ's dad came out with that video?
Yeah.
Courtesy of, Marky's help. They were clipping shit up for weeks, bro. And, Baker in the media, he's a trash quarterback. They had him playing scout team for Carolina, a team that's rebuilding. And then he ends up with the Bucs. We know he's a gunslinger, but, now he has Godwin. Now he has Mike Evans. He's got weapons. He's got a coach that, has some experience in Todd Bowles. Yeah. I think, I don't know if Byron Leftwich was there the year after Brady left and he took over at least 1 year. I know he's in college now with Colorado, but Baker Mayfield, I don't know if he can replicate the season that he had last year, which was his best season ever in the NFL.
Yeah, it would be hard, right, to duplicate what he had, because it was one hell of a season. Being top 2, top 3 as far as yards go, that's just a lot to ask. But when you have the extra weapons, you got Cade Otton, Chris Godwin's going to be there eventually once he gets healed up. Mike Evans, they got pieces. Bucky Irving, there's definitely players there for him to get the ball moving. And like you said, he's a gunslinger. I think if you're looking at him from a fantasy perspective, you're probably going to draft Baker a little higher than you did last year.
He's going right after Patrick Mahomes and right before Bo Nix. Yeah. So he's being slotted at like the number 6 or 7 quarterback off the board right now.
Yeah. Well, Ben, I like the top 10. I think it's pretty good. The only, thing I'll knock you on is I think the Texans are a little bit more fringe. I see why you're putting them up, because at the end of the day, good defenses win games for you. You're in a division that you will definitely be probably making the playoffs. I think what you got to address is that O-line, though. I think that O-line is going to need a lot of help. So we'll see how that plays out. Week 1 will definitely give us a pretty good gauge of what the season is going to be like with the Rams. It's a good litmus test, at least.
And I know that me and Ron had a couple of different ones there towards the end in the Bengals, the Packers, the Texans. Would you? I mean, well, how do you feel about the Broncos over the Bengals or the
I don't think
Packers?
the Broncos need to be in the top 10. I think they're fringe as well. So if you have them off, I'm not going to be like, you know what, you need to put them in. I personally
Rams,
wouldn't put them in over the Bengals or the Bucks. So
Rams.
the Rams, you know what, if you wanted to flip the Bucks and the Rams, or I wouldn't, I wouldn't be mad at that.
Because we didn't put any team in. Neither one of us had a team from that division, Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, Cardinals in our top 10.
Yeah,
That's usually considered, it has been considered the best division in football
NFC
just
West.
because of the parity, and that teams kind of taking turns winning that division.
That's the problem. You don't know who's going to win it this year. I mean, the team that won it last year was 10-7, the Rams. Seahawks are going to be 10-7 as well last year. They were in it as well. So there's a lot of parity in that division. You don't know how to put them in the top 10.
Yeah, and let's get to Mark's question. Maybe we can end it on this, Justin, unless we get anything else in the comments. But he says Broncos or Packers. I like it. I like the question. Better season. And this was kind of the deciding factor because I think that both of them are legit cases for dark horses. But then you look at their division, and like the Chargers was another team that's maybe fringe, but the Broncos are in a division with the Chargers, with the Chiefs, and then what the Raiders, which might be, the easy win unless, Geno doesn't write back again this year. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Brady's
But then
going to
you
practice, man.
Yeah, then you got the Packers with, the Vikings, the Lions, and the Bears in their division. All we've seen from the Bears, yeah, they got Ben Johnson, but the quarterback question marks are still there. I know he was a Heisman winner, but the man's throwing tantrums, throwing at a net, and missing his target. So I'm going to go with the Packers. Like I said, I think the Packers win the division. So I think the Broncos can be a wild card team similar to last year. I think they got in with the wild card last year, if I'm not mistaken. But I got the Packers having a better season. Mark.
Packers did win more games last year than the Broncos. They had 11 wins for the Packers. I do expect them to step up. But you know what? With the division that they're in, with the Vikings and the Lions, 11 games was not enough to get into the playoffs. So I am worried about that. I think if you were going to say who has a better shot at making the playoffs, I would probably think the Broncos do, just because their division is weaker. I mean, the Chiefs, yes, right, but after that,
Chiefs and Chargers were both playoff teams.
Man, I don't know about these Chargers, bro. I don't know about them.
We'll see. Sean Payton and Jim Harbaugh, and then you got Andy Reid, and then you got, Akel away from the Seahawks that just got Pete Carroll at 79 years old. That division has a lot of years of coaching, man. Probably the most years of coaching in it. But yeah, so you go in Broncos, I go Packers. That's going to be a good one to revisit.
We have to look that one.
Luis, we got Luis here in the comments real quick.
Last one.
Yeah, he's in a keeper league, and he did explain to me that if he needs to keep 3 players out of the guys listed. The rounds don't matter. They go like 13, 14, and 15th round. You just get to keep them automatically.
Okay.
So let's see what you think here. I'll go first. I think that Neighbors and Jefferson are both first-round guys this year in 10-man league or 12-man leagues. They're both going in the first round. I think you got to keep both of them. And then Bucky Irving is the next guy. He's going like in the second or third. Chase Brown is really good. That's not Jamar Chase.
Okay, because I was like, Jamar Chase, are we really passing up Chase Brown? Okay.
No, there's no way you end up with Jamar Chase, Jefferson, and Neighbors. That would be insane. But that's definitely Chase Brown. That's why he's listed with Bucky Irving after the running backs. And I'll go Bucky Irving, Jefferson, and Neighbors. I think they're the highest rated players. And yeah, you'll have a first round pick. And you might be able to draft one of Jefferson or Neighbors, but you can't draft them both in the first round.
And what Wilson is this?
I believe that's the wide receiver Wilson as well.
From the Jets?
Yeah, there's no Wilson running back.
Neighbors and Jefferson are locks to me in this list.
Yeah,
depending on who this Wilson is, I'm thinking that over Irving, over Bucky.
So just a bunch of wide receivers, and then you're just drafting running backs and quarterback pretty much.
Yeah, because
wide receivers. Go ahead.
If it's a PPR, you got to go with wide receivers over your running backs, don't you?
Yeah, but I think keeping two is enough, and then one running back just to kind of have some base there. I told him that with Daniels, that's a quarterback that you could draft like in the third or fourth round. So
Yeah,
there's really no point in keeping him if you're going to be able to draft him at some point in the
I
draft.
agree.
Neighbors and Jefferson, I think, are the no-brainer keepers, and then
Locks.
yeah, you kind of just are deciding between Wilson and I guess Bucky Irving.
Garrett Wilson, Bucky Irving, or Chase Brown.
And it's standard; it's not PPR. So yeah, I would go Bucky Irving.
Yeah. I'm still with Wilson, bro. He's their main
You're an
receiver
Ohio
out there.
State guy, though. At least,
Yeah, that's bias. You're right. It is. I
Luis
do
needs to
like
know
your
that.
method
Luis
as far
needs
as
to know
saying
that.
you keep two and get yourself a running back. Chase Brown, and he plays with the Bengals. You don't know exactly what he's going to produce. Could have been one and done season, a fluke of a season. We don't know for sure. I mean, he
There's
did
not
have
much
one
depth
hell of a
behind
season.
him, though. I will
Yeah.
say that they just cut Zach Moss, so Chase Brown is going to get workload.
You will.
But Bucky Irving is same thing. We saw him win the job last year. He's 22 years old. Like,
Oh, it's a
he's got all the
standard
juice.
league too.
yeah.
Yeah. He likes Daniels over Irving. I think, like Ben said, though, you can pick up Daniels later. You don't have to lock him in.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a bunch of QBs that go, not a bunch, right? There's probably 3 or 4, but quarterbacks don't start getting drafted. It is a keeper league, so maybe they go sooner. It's kind of a unique situation here where you keep 3 players, so a lot of the depth on the field, the guys are going to be keeping their top dogs. So maybe Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are being kept. So Daniels is one of the, maybe you have to pick him in the first round, right? But yeah, Jefferson and Neighbors are no brainers, and then
Those are
I
your
don't think
locks.
you can go wrong with Bucky Irving, Daniels, or Chase. I think that you're good. That's just preference.
All right. Well, thank you everybody who tuned in with us tonight on your Wednesday night. If you're looking at this tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, we appreciate you coming back. Like we said, we'll have a lot more streams now that the NFL season has returned. We did get one Hall of Fame game already. Did you catch any of the Hall of Fame ceremony real fast? Did you?
I didn't catch the ceremony, did catch the game, had the Chargers winning, so glad. Kind of just went with the hardballs. I know that the Ravens hardball likes winning preseason.
Yeah, they do.
Stuck with the same thing with this hardball, and they did work.
There you go. Catch the bet early. Let's get it, boys. We'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace.